Your life is in danger. Well, not your life. The life of a sad little boy who maybe now has cancer. Hello and welcome to the thrilling conclusion of my unintentional Rose Estes trilogy and also the least Dungeons & Dragons-y of the Endless Quest books thus far. Endless Quest number 7, Hero of Washington Square, is a story of Bobby McCloskey, the saddest little boy in New York. Bobby just got an F on his report card and is contemplating suicide. I'm 100% serious about this. Anyhow, there I was in the park, ready to hang myself from the nearest statue, when Pigeon Mary sat down next to me. A bunch of pigeons there's so much here already. First off, this isn't Dungeons & Dragons. Second off, there I was at the park ready to hang myself from the nearest statue. That's fucked up. Bobby's two homeless best friends, Pigeon Mary and Bagel Ben, show up to hang out with birds and feed trash to a child, respectively. This is what happens in this book. I'm hoping that this old-timey prospector who shows up with irradiated diamonds is somehow time travel related. Our possibly time-displaced prospector friend is in the Big Apple to have his radioactive load appraised, but he got mugged in the night. He didn't get mugged of his diamonds though. Also, the cops are in on it. Sam needs to lay low for a while, and he wants Bobby to take care of the cancer diamonds, because obviously this kid doesn't have enough problems. I tend to agree, so off to page 17. Bobby returns home to what is described as a pretty awesome meal of roast beef, corn on the cob, mashed potatoes, and chocolate cake, with a heaping helping of disappointed father. Classic childhood. Bobby forgets to tell his dad about the diamonds. Also, I don't know why he was going to tell his dad about the diamonds. Also, his dad is some kind of secret agent management, I guess? That's how he describes it, at least. Bobby gets grounded so that he can memorize Tennyson's Charge of the Light Brigade, and maybe not be such a failure. This feels like the actual first choice of the book. Either lock yourself up over the weekend, or disobey daddy and hang out with vagrants and a stranger you just met. I'm actually kind of afraid to fuck up this kid's life, so I'm gonna see what happens if I just lock him in the house over the weekend. And fuck you, book! Bobby can't have a fun adventure and also learn a poem so that he's not such a fucking idiot anymore? Fine, I'll go on the stupid adventure. But this kid better have this poem thing down by the end of the book, or I will never forgive you, Rose Estes. Okay, I actually think there might be something wrong with Bobby. He wants to hide the diamonds, but first spends a good deal of time describing a light fixture that's just kind of near where he wants to hide the diamonds, and he reminisces about the times he used to pretend pixies lived in the light fixture, but he checked it out one time, and he cleared that all up. Except that he checked it during the day? What the fuck are you talking about, Bobby? Do you think that the pixies only live there at night? Fuck me, this kid is screwed. Bobby tries to rendezvous, but nobody else is there to rendezvous, so it's just Bobby at a place by himself? That's a bad rendezvous. Okay, and maybe I made a judgment call on the homelessness of these two people who decided to befriend a child, because the next choice is either to go look for Pigeon Mary at her house, which I'm still just kind of assuming is a pigeon coop and not like an actual human person's home, go look for Bagel Ben in his basement, or go home and wait. Now, I assume the book's just gonna end if I go back home, and I don't like the idea of sending a child into a grown man's basement by himself, so birds it is. I fucking knew it. Mary lives in a statue in a smaller park several blocks from Washington Square. I know that sounds weird, but it's true. Back when the statue was built, they must have planned on using its base to store tools. What you do is turn one of the statue's hands, then this concrete slab in the base opens just enough for you to get in. When you're inside, you push a button to get out. Mary's got it fixed up real nice. There's a water faucet, a cot, a furry rug with hardly any holes, and lots of other stuff. Lit by candles. It's really neat. I knew this bitch was homeless. Bobby finds Mary at the floor of her hovel, bleeding from a head wound. Mary tells Bobby that Sam's been kidnapped by some goons and taken to a nearby marina. Okay, this choice seems fairly straightforward. go after the bad guys, go back home with the disoriented homeless woman, or just hang out with Mary in her statue home thing. Go after the bad guys, it is. After spending 2 paragraphs eating 2 different hot dogs and wanting a boat, and I'm absolutely serious here, my mom had left me with some money in case of an emergency, so I bought a hot dog and piled it up with ketchup, mustard, relish, onions, sauerkraut, and chili, and got a can of pop, my breakfast. That was a whole paragraph describing him putting toppings on a hot dog. There really wasn't any good way to get to the marina by bus or subway, and I thought I'd better not spend my money on a cab, so I started walking. After I finished my hot dog, I was still hungry, so I grabbed another one from another street What the fuck? He's just spending 2 paragraphs eating hot dogs, you fucking idiot. Oh wait, no, this is a 3rd paragraph about wanting a boat. Those boats are something, all sleek and polished. I'd like to own one someday. Yeah, good fucking luck, Bobby. You can't even memorize a poem. After spending 3 paragraphs, eating 2 different hot dogs, and wanting a boat, Bobby is grabbed by security. Who looks like this? He looks like a cartoon. I mean, they all do. Bobby kind of looks he looks like a ghost. Whereas on the cover, he looks like a fucking idiot. Okay, I'm 100% serious here. I think there's something wrong with Bobby because these are the 4 choices as he sees them. And tell me if you think one of them sounds fucking ridiculous. Okay, we can give up and go home. That makes sense, sure. Go back and talk to Pigeon Mary because a bleeding homeless woman's gonna be able to help us. Wait until dark and then sneak back into the marina, or just go back to the marina right now, even though we just got stopped by security. What the fuck, Bobby? Screw it. What happens if Bobby literally just goes back to the marina again? Oh, what a fucking surprise. Bobby's stopped by the same security guy almost immediately. As soon as he mentions Sam Brock, though, Security Dick changes his tune. Sam Brock? Well, why didn't you say so, kid? No problem. I'll take you to him. And he started pulling me down the pier. I didn't know what to do, but I had to decide fast. I could take a chance and go with the guard and hope to find Sam, turn to page 101, or I could worry about his sudden friendliness and run away. Fuck it, Bobby. Why not just trust a guy you just met? You did it once already in this book. Why not just do it again? Security Dick brings Bobby back to his boss's boat hideout because, surprise, he's actually a bad guy. I know, it was shocking, right? His boss, who's probably drunk on rum, is named Graf, is lazily described as having muscles on top of muscles, and basically doesn't matter at all. Bobby gets drugged by the security guard in a actually pretty scary... it's pretty scary the way they describe it. I tried to bite him, but when I opened my mouth, he poured a flood of sticky, sweet stuff down my throat. I gagged, but almost immediately, a warm sleepiness spread through me. My brain screamed, "No!" And my body yawned, "Yes." And I fell asleep. And then he gets thrown in the brig with Sam. That's fucking that's terrifying, by the way. Bobby wakes up and unties Sam, who is tied up, but just not that much, I guess. And I'm given a set of choices. I'm gonna spoil it now. Whatever choice I pick is gonna end the book. And I'm going to go through all of them because I'll get to why I'm gonna go through all of them. Okay, so here are my choices. Maybe we could get to the shortwave radio and call the Coast Guard. We could get 2 life preservers, jump overboard, and float to shore. Or we could lower a lifeboat and row to shore. I choose the life preserver option first because I figured Bobby would get caught trying to go to the radio and was too stupid to lower a lifeboat. And this is what happened. Bobby gets shot at by Graf, but it's apparently just fine because him and Sam make it off the boat in their life preservers. As they float to shore, Bobby basically wraps it all up with, "I hope I don't get eaten by a shark. I still don't know this old-timey prospector or this pirate who tried to murder me. I guess I'll just let the justice system take care of this. Also, homework, too." The end. Kind of a letdown, honestly. So I checked out the lifeboat option because I figured Bobby's still too stupid to work a radio. God damn it, Bobby. Okay, well, he manages to get the lifeboat down and even manages to convince Sam to get in because Sam needed to be convinced to leave the pirate ship that he got kidnapped and put onto. Bobby reasons, This is our only chance, Sam. We're getting farther and farther from land. If we stay here, we'll never see another birthday. And I actually kind of like that. This is like the most getting inside of a child's head writing I've ever read. Because that's great. A kid would totally be like, oh, if we don't escape this murderer, we're never gonna have another birthday party. I like birthday presents. Oh, Bobby. Like, that's actually pretty cute. Now that Sam and Bobby are in the lifeboat, they start to row. Oh wait, no they don't. Because Bobby didn't know to look for oars, and Sam doesn't know anything about boats, I guess, so that neither of one of them know how to paddle, and then they die in the ocean. Probably. It says the only people that are looking for us is Graf. So it's implied that the pirates just find them, and I guess kill the shit out of them for trying to escape and or wasting a lifeboat. I don't know how it works, but I'm pretty sure this ending is you die. So, I don't know. I gave up and I said, fuck it. What happens if Bobby tries to call the Coast Guard? Does he actually get shot by the pirate? Does he get eaten by sharks? Does anything even remotely Dungeons and Dragons-y happen in this fucking Dungeons and Dragons book? None of those things, it turns out. Bobby does blast Graf with, I'm gonna say, enchanted fire extinguisher, which is amazing from a kid who still believes that maybe pixies live in his lamp or something. And being as this is the only ending that actually has closure out of the three, we learn that the diamonds actually were of poor grade and not that important. It's just that they wanted to lock down the rights to a uranium mine because the diamonds were irradiated, and they assumed it was with uranium. Also, Rose Estes puts in a fun little trivia fact about uranium that I'm sure wasn't troubling at all for children to read. Uranium is a rare, incredibly expensive mineral used in nuclear power plants and in making nuclear weapons. Its mining and distribution are carefully controlled by the big governments of the world. That must have been fun for a child to read back in the whenever the fuck's 80s, I guess. Who would do that? Bobby's dad admits to being kind of a dick and not actually liking poetry that much as a kid either. And not a word is shared between the two about why Bobby's hanging around with this strange man, or about his other old people friends, one of whom was last seen bleeding in what amounts to a crawl space under a statue. This whole thing is a mess. This whole thing is a fucking mess, front to back. The whole thing. What the fuck? As it turns out, I didn't have that much fun having a sad, dumb kid go on a sad, dumb adventure. Why is this book part of the Dungeons & Dragons Endless Quest series is my main takeaway here. Glowing cancer diamonds isn't magic. The old-timey prospector who showed up out of nowhere, he wasn't actually time travel related. What did I do wrong? If I made him go down to the basement with Bagel Ben, would he have been hanging out with the Beholder or some shit? I didn't even see this shit from the cover. Was there a path where Pigeon Mary sent, like, suicide pigeons to bomb shady government helicopters? I'll never know. This book sucked. But I at least have a positive to make. Rose Estes didn't bother pairing Bobby with a wisecracking sidekick. Although, Bobby was thoroughly shitty, and reading about him eating 2 different hot dogs on the same page was fucking stupid. The hero of Washington Square is bad. I found the modern setting boring, and the fact that Bobby didn't have any friends his own age, troubling. The whole ending of my adventure in particular felt empty and kind of just rushed. I mean, who was Graf connected to? What happens to the diamonds? Does Bobby have cancer now? Who the fuck is Bagel Ben, honestly? I mean, I can see a little boy hanging out in a park and meeting an old lady who feeds birds, but what the fuck is Bagel Ben? No child should be like, oh hey, a grown man who wants to feed me trash bagels. I'm gonna be his best friend. Nobody has ever said that. Not even this idiot. Okay, what have I been rating these out of? Oh, a best of 10? Okay, great. Well, if Pillars of Pentagarn was a 5, I have to imagine this is very nearly the bottom of the barrel. I'm not gonna say it's a 1 out of 10, because I have to believe that there's something worse than this. Even though this is pretty god-awful. So I'm gonna give it a 2 out of 10 for the hero of Washington Square. Don't bother reading it unless you like being tricked by a stupid book. And if you're watching this on a school night, go do your fucking homework so you don't end up like Bobby. Stupid and full of cancer. Thanks for watching.